Let's go ahead and dive right into this. So we have a clean WordPress installation right here. There's absolutely nothing on it. And we only have the plugins that are, we've deleted all of our plugins, and we have our just our blank 2019 theme set up right here. So we don't really have anything set up on here. So we're going to go ahead and install WilCity theme on the site so that we can get started. Now we've already purchased WilCity, but if you have not, the link is in the description below. And once you've done so, all you have to do is just click download, and you can just click on the installable WordPress file only. If you're looking to build the app and if you need the child theme and all of those sort of things, then you can click on the all files and documentation. But we're just going to go and stick with the installable WordPress file only. We're going to navigate to Appearance, Themes, Add New, Upload, and we're just going to drag this right into the choose file and click Install Now. Now, for some of you who who are using different servers, there may be an upload limit that you may have to change on your server. And I've already done that for all of my servers because I have multiple installations of WilCity on my server. So I've already uploaded it because you have to increase it above the 10 megabyte max that they have for you already. So be sure to make sure you do that if you cannot upload the theme, or you can always do it via FTP and you can get all that information on your host. All right, so we've got that done. We need to click activate. All right, so we've come up with all of these notifications, and they may be a little overwhelming, but really we can just ignore these two for right now. It's just telling us that we need to install some plugins, and we're going to go do that right now. Under Appearance, we have Plugins, Install Plugins. Now here's a list of plugins that WilCity may want you to, it's required to install, or that they recommend for you to install. So we're going to go through these. CMB2 is what they use for their custom fields, so this is something that you need to have installed. Contact Form 7 for contacting the owner of the listings. We have the email templates so that you can change what the templates say and design your emails and things of that nature. The Redux framework, we need this because of the way they built the theme, that we need to install this and a couple other things. The WilCity shortcodes, widgets, and listing tools. These are all required that you need to have those so that you can actually build your pages and have functioning directories. The Booking.com banner creator is just optional. If you're going to have this feature, the Booking.com feature, then go ahead and install that. I'm not going to do that. The Doken multi-vendor marketplace is something if you're going to allow your customers to sell products, kind of like an Etsy or an eBay type style, you're going to want to install that. I'm going to use Elementor, so we're going to install that as well. If you're going to build an app, or if you just want to use King Composer as your builder for your pages, then I would suggest to install that as well. If, like I said, King Composer is required if you're going to build the app, so make sure you install that. Visual Composer, just another page builder. This will only work on a website. You cannot use this on the mobile app, and you cannot use Elementor on the mobile app as well. So King Composer is required for that. But if you want to use Visual Composer as opposed to Elementor or King Composer, you have that option as well. There are many options that you can use, that you have, that allows you to build your pages the way that you need it to look. The REST API controller is something that you may want to install if you're, like I said, if you're doing the app. You don't really have to install right now. The WilCity Elementor add-on, we are installing Elementor, so I'm going to install that. The WilCity import, if you want to import demos, this is not importing CSV files for your listings. This is importing the demo content from WilCity. We are not going to be installing that. If you're going to be installing the app, be sure to install this one. If you want paid claims, so if you want people to be able to select a package when they're claiming a listing, then install this. We'll install that as well. The WP Bakery add-on, same thing as the Elementor add-on, just if you're using Visual Composer. And if you're using Doken, install WooCommerce. Or if you want WooCommerce to handle all of your subscriptions and all of your payment methods, then install that as well. But we will not be doing that. Let's click Bulk Actions Install and Apply. All right, we have all of those installed correctly. Let's go back to the install plugins and we're going to activate these. So go to the to activate section, click all, bulk actions, activate. You can also do this in your plugins folder, plugins menu right over here on the left. All right, now that we've got all of our plugins installed, when we refresh our page, we're going to see all of our new page menus, all of our new menus over here on the left-hand side. That you'll see over here. We have our plugins section right here. And once that loads up, you'll be able to see all of the plugins that we've installed that are going to be needed from the for the directory theme that for WilCity. So here's all of the plugins that we have activated as well. Get rid of this notice. Get rid of this notice. And then here's a warning for you guys. If you have not done so yet, please set your time zone underneath of the WordPress general settings. So make it to the time string instead of UTC. We don't have to worry about that right now. All right, so basically we're going to go through these menus one by one. Let's go to the underneath of appearance. We're going to navigate to theme options. We have all of these theme options right here that we're able to set to make our website stand out, and then of course just a couple of settings as well. So we have all of our registration and login, directory types, things like that, blog settings, all of our Google settings right here. We have all of those options that we can set up here. I'm just going to go through some of these first. We have the Willow Tools menu, and if we click on this top menu, it's going to install all of the missing pages that we're going to need for the website, which is always good because we don't want to go through and make the page, set the template, and do all of that. We want to just have them do it as well. We have all of our claim settings. So if you want someone to claim a listing on your site, we have all those settings right here. If you're going to be allowing people to submit events or for you to show events on the front end, you have all of your event settings here. And same with listing settings, all of your listing settings here. And if you add new directory types, they will show up for the settings under this menu. A new menu item will be added. Promotions, if you want to enable people to boost their ads with promotions, this is where you would set this up. The quick search form at the top of the website in the navigation bar, this is what the settings will be for this. We have our notification settings for the Firebase. Reports for people being able to report listings for inappropriate content or things of that nature. And then we have the add directory types here. So we can add as many directory types as we want, and then we can set all of the settings in here. Underneath the Willow submission, we have a lot of different settings, and this is a lot of where you're going to be saying, yes, this is, the payments that we're going to accept, recurrent subscriptions, all of your PayPal or your Stripe settings, all of that. So this is where all of that's going to be. All of these menus on the left-hand side are basically all of the people who want to claim your listings, all of the listings plans you're going to add, discounts, comments, promotions that people have purchased. That's where all of that's going to be. So let's go ahead and get started with the Willow Tools. And we're going to click install. So it's automatically added all of these pages that we're going to need to successfully charge people for the listings on the website. And now that we've done that, you'll be able to notice under Willow Submission that we have all of our pages are already set under here on the payment pages, the dashboard, the package page, the add listing page, checkout, thank you, cancel. These have already been set up and configured for us, so we don't have to worry about doing those later on, which is always great. Now we're going to navigate to appearance and theme options. All right, so underneath of the general settings, we have our favicon, we have our logo, retina logo, listing logo. Let's go ahead and go through all of these. For the favicon, we have something where we can upload in the top right over here, in Chrome or in Safari, it's over here. But this is what these images are. That's what a favicon is. So if you want to have one of these, you can upload it. If you don't, it will look something similar to what my site looks like now. All you have to do is click on upload, and you're going to select a file. And let's go and set something up here. We're going to navigate here so that we're going to grab one of these icons from a current site. And then once we've done that, we can upload it to the site. And then we have it ready to go. And if you need help designing them, make sure they're about 200 pixels by 200 pixels, just so they're big enough, because sometimes apps will use the favicon as being able to add it to the home screen of your devices that you're using for like mobile devices and things like that. So make sure it's large enough for that. Once that's uploaded, we're going to click select. All right, and then for our logo, we're going to upload our logo. So let's go ahead and figure out what we want our logo to be. We have our logo aspects. We have the wide logo, and then we're going to upload the logo here. All right, so we've got our logo selected there. We're going to click select. And so the difference for the Retina logo and the logo is the Retina logo should be twice as big for mobile devices, because things like iPhones and Androids are using Retina screens, and even your laptops. So make sure that you're uploading a large enough logo that you can have it scaled down twice. Listing logos are going to be the default logo for all of the listings that are on your site if they do not upload their own logo. So what I like to do is just use something similar to a favicon or something simple, so that it will crop it in a circle, but it's just something default so that your listings who don't have a logo will automatically just have this. The menu color, so the menu color for your website, which is going to be this main menu up here. You won't be able to see that yet because we don't have a menu, but the main menu that's up here is the menu color that we're looking for. So we want to make this black. The author menu background, so when you're on an author page, like a profile page or anything like that, then it's going to be this background right here. So normally we have it transparent because their hero image will come through. So we can keep these the same. We'll keep this one over here the same as well. The listing details menu. And then the menu background, we want to make this a custom one. This is for all pages, excluding these two. So the listing details and author menu, this is the menu background. So this is what you're going to see on most of your sites. Right now it's set to dark, which is this dark navy. And if you want it to be anything else, we can make a custom, and then we can select whatever color we want. If you want people to be able to follow each other, you can toggle this on or off. I usually just disable it for my purposes, but it's something that's completely up to you. Always show full text. I usually enable this as well because I like to show all of it instead of just showing the ellipse. So I just do that. So we'll save changes and see what we've got so far, and we'll refresh. All right, so we've got the white background that we chose. We have our logo. We don't have a menu because we have not created a menu yet, so we don't have to worry about that just yet. Let's go up to the SEO. Added the OG image property to listing page. I usually just keep this enabled because the listing page will automatically be the OG image, which is what the SEO needs in order to show the images. When you paste a link onto Facebook or something like that, you'll notice that you'll get an image showing up with the link, and that's what this is. The front end dashboard. So once they log into their dashboard, and we don't have this yet, but once they log into their dashboard, they'll be able to put a little notice up here if you want to. You can change this if you want. You can keep it the same, just replace this # with the actual link to your privacy policy. Just go through all of this and make it pertain to you. But this is what they're going to see when they log into their dashboard. Register and log in. If you want people to be able to register on your website, you have to do a few things. You have to enable it here, but you also have to go to your settings under general. And then once you've gone to that, you're going to want to go to anyone can register. You want to click on that and hit save. The Google reCAPTCHA. So if you want people to have to do the I am not a robot thing when they log in and register, you're going to want to click enable. And if you enable that, it's going to give you a couple of different things that you have to fill in for your secret keys. And if you need more information about this, I would just go to Google's reCAPTCHA website, and I can post a link in the comments below. But go to the Google's reCAPTCHA site, and then you're going to paste in your site key and your secret key right here. Toggle agree to the privacy policy. You're going to want to enable that, especially with the new EU regulations that they've gone on. You'll want to have a privacy policy for this type of website. So if you have not done so yet, there's free privacy policy generators out there, or contact your lawyer if you have one and get one made up. But I strongly would suggest that you keep this enabled, and then just link to your privacy policy right here where the pound sign is. Same thing with terms and conditions. Always keep that enabled if you can, and then just link it to it right here. And you can change all of the verbiage right there. Login redirect type. Basically, the self page means it will just refresh the page that it's currently on wherever they're logging in, and they'll stay on that page. If you want them to go to a specific page like their dashboard when they're logging in, then you can specify a specific page, and then you can have it maybe go to their dashboard when they log in. No matter what page they're on, it will always go to their dashboard. Confirm user's email address, which is a great way to enhance your security. Because if you don't have this enabled, people can just use test@gmail.com and make an account on your site. You'll have no real information about them. They won't be able to confirm their email because they don't have access to that email address most likely. So they don't need to worry about confirmation or anything like that. So there's going to be a lot of spam registrations on your site. So I would strongly say that you should enable this. And then you can just change this text however you see fit, whatever you want to do for your website. And they won't actually be able to submit a listing on your website until they confirm this email address, which is always a great feature. Confirmation page. Basically, all you have to do is go to pages here on the left, and then you'll go to add new. We'll call this confirmation. And then we'll go under the page attributes template, and then we're going to go under confirm account for WilCity and hit publish. Now once we've done that and we refresh this page, we can actually choose that page that we just made right here in the confirmation section. Redirect to this page after creating an account. So it's a little bit different than when they're logging in redirect. So if they already have an account and they're logging in, you can redirect them to their dashboard or such. But if you're redirecting them after creating an account, maybe you want them to check out your app that you made, or to claim their listing. If you're already pre-populating all of the website with their listings, you can have it go to whatever page you want to here. And you can create it with any page builders. And then from there, just select it here in the drop down, and you can have it go to that page. So there's a lot of different things that you can make them see when you're creating the account, and then it gets redirected to this login page. It's a great way to sell them something or something like that. Toggle allow customer can delete account. I would say keep this enabled because of those EU regulations with people having to be able to delete their own accounts. If you do this, there's going to be a button in their dashboard that says delete account, and they have to type in their password in order to delete it. And of course, there's that reminder or the account warning. I would suggest you read through this and change anything that needs to be done, especially the name or any words that need to be spelled correctly. Internal welcome message is something they're going to get sent via the chat that's built in with WilCity. So there's a chat functionality that's on desktop and in the mobile app. So they're going to get sent this right here on their website, and they'll get a notification for that. So this is a great way to reach out to them initially as well. Change this however you see fit. Obviously, you can see that we can put links in it so that people can click on links. The front end password reset page. Another page you're going to have to create. If you go to add new page, and we're going to call this one reset password. Go under the page attributes template, and it's going to be the WilCity reset password, and click publish, and then publish. And then you're going to go ahead and choose that page from this drop down right here. Now the Facebook login. Now there's a video on WilCity's YouTube page that shows how to do the Facebook login. If you want people to be able to sign in with their social media, I would strongly say to enable this. Right now there's only Facebook, but I'm sure that Gmail is in the works. You would toggle this enabled, choose your language, and then your app API ID and your API secret will all go in these two fields, and those will be shown to you on the Facebook developers page. And I can link the video down in the comments below so that you guys can see how to enable this for your website. Mobile settings. This is for when they're registering or logging in to your website from the mobile app. Same thing here, agree to our terms and conditions. Make sure you're changing the spelling if you need to. Term page, make sure you choose the page that you made for your terms and conditions. And then same thing for privacy policy. Once you're all done with this, go ahead and click Save Changes. Underneath of the users, we have the default cover image. So profiles. Every person gets a profile when they are registered on the website. The cover image is that big wide image on the website that you normally see with like Facebook and Twitter and things like that. Same thing with WilCity. If you upload your default cover image, you can do that here. You can also do the user avatar, which is also like their Facebook profile picture in terms of WilCity things. So if you just select whichever one you want, that can be their thing. And then we have the follow feature if you want to enable or disable that. I'm going to click disable. Alright, from there, moving on to customized taxonomies. We have the default location featured images, default category featured images, tags featured images. Same thing that we were discussing. If you don't upload a featured image for location, category, or tags, this is what it's going to pull from. But I always suggest you should always to upload your own custom ones when you're making the categories, because you'll have more control over that. So definitely upload your own when creating them underneath of the listings right here in these three sections. But always, I mean, you can upload these if you want to. It doesn't hurt. It's always a great fallback if you for some reason you accidentally forget to upload one. The listing location slug. So if you are using the listing location taxonomy, you can make sure that you change this if you want to. Maybe you're doing members instead of listings. You can change this to member location. Same thing with member category. Same thing with member tag. Now, once we save this page, we need to make sure that we save our permalinks right here. And I'll show you guys how to do that. Custom taxonomy image size. This is if you want to do large, medium, or anything like that. We can just set it right there. And then the listing taxonomy page style. We can either choose the default ones, or we can actually create one ourselves with the page builder. For right now, we're going to keep this default. And there's going to be a video coming up on WilCity's YouTube page that shows in detail how to create one for yourself. The subcategory settings, I've normally just left this all of the same. But if you're looking to change this a little bit, this is the subcategories. So the number of columns, number of taxonomies that are going to be shown, how you want to order these, and things of that nature. So these are all completely up to you guys if you want to change these or not. Save changes, and then we're going to go to the settings, permalinks. We're going to make sure it's under post name and click save changes. And we're going to do it one more time, save changes. We're going to go back to theme options. And then we're under Google settings now. So this is for if you are using the map features with WilCity. You're going to need to have this API enabled. So let's go ahead and grab our API. And I'm just going to grab some random one. and then I'm going to delete it after this video is on. If you need any help, definitely click on the documentation. It shows you how to get an API so that you can paste it in there just like so. There's a bunch of different information on how to do that. So let me go and grab one. Right here. Theme options, and we're going to paste that there. All right, so we have the autocomplete, which we want to just keep that the same way it is. Local code, local language, keep all that. Changes if you need to, the local code. Grid size, I've normally just left this all the same. Maximum zoom value, so this is how far they're able to zoom out. 21 is normal. The minimum zoom value is obviously 1. And then default zoom value is whatever you want it to be. So normally I'll do something around 16 just for that. And if you want to change the default map center, you can go to latlong.net. Type in the address you want to be the center of attention, and then from there you can just add it here with a comma separating them right there, as you can see right there. The map bound feature, you can enable or disable this. It's for like local businesses and things like that. So wherever you want it to start and end, it's basically going to be the top of the map and the bottom of the map. So you can choose what is shown. Map style, you can choose whatever you want here or custom. If you choose custom, then you can paste the code that you get from snazzymaps.com right in this section. But for right now, I'm just going to use ultralight. On a single listing page, this is where you can enable the zooms and then the default zoom. For single listings, I usually like to do around 15 or so, just because that's almost street view with Google Maps. And I want it to be pretty close for that. So we want to make sure that we have the option for that. Same thing with the event page. I want to make this the same 15. Click Save Changes. Directory type on the left-hand side now. We have a couple different options. We have the featured image full width or slider. So the featured image full width is going to be whatever they upload for their cover image for that listing. The slider is going to pull from the gallery if you have that gallery option enabled. It's up to you guys, whatever you want to do. If you want an example of the slider, go to WilCityShowcase.com and you'll be able to see the slider options there. I'm going to keep this featured image full width. Overlay color, you can choose whatever overlay color you want there. I'm just going to keep it the same because I like what it is. Post per page. So you can choose however many you want to do here. Make it 10, make it 50, whatever you want. Same for the excerpt length. Featured image and video thumbnail right here in a coupon image. These are those default images we discussed earlier. So if you're unsure of what you want to be, if they don't have anything uploaded for their featured image, their video thumbnail, or the general coupon pop-up image, it will pull from whatever you have here. Hey Andrew, so the map bound feature, it's very difficult to explain, but basically, if you're on the map page where it shows all the listings on the left-hand side, and I don't have one set up yet, but I will. On the left-hand side, they have all the listings, and then you have the map on the right-hand side. Basically, the map bound is the start and the end. So the start will be where the map starts at the top, and the map bound end will be where the map ends at the bottom. So let's say you're in a county in the United States, and you're in a county inside of a state. The top of your county can be the map bound start. So grab some lat long from the top of your county, and then the bottom of your county will be your map bound end. So grab the lat long from the bottom of your county. It's a little bit difficult to show you guys, but I can show you guys an example once we get the map page and all that set up. All right, directory type, we have those options. Like I said, if you want them to be the default featured image, default video thumbnail, and default coupon pop-up image, we have that option right there. Of course, yeah, Andrew, we're going to answer you. It's a live video. That's what the whole point of a live video. So you guys can chat with us while we do this live. Time format. If you want 24 or 12, basically those are your standard options. And then we have the map page. So if we want to create a new map page, let's do that right now. New page. And this is just going to be, I'm just going to name this members. Because it doesn't have to be called a map page. It can be whatever you want to be called. You're going to go over here on the templates. You have all of these templates. We're going to go to WilCity map. Publish. Let's save this and we're going to refresh and add that map page right here. Map page, members. Search page, I'm going to keep that members as well because I want people to be able to search and it will show it on that same page. Listing search page order by. All of your listings, however you want them to be sorted on that map page. Do you want them to be premium listings first and then it goes by date? Or do you want it to be by title first? And I usually like title and I usually do ascending. So those are the different options that you can have for that. Same with the event search. I don't use the premium events much, but if you do, then you're going to want premium events there. But for events, it's a little bit different. You may want the upcoming events first because you want people to see what's coming next. And you want to be able to show them the next event instead of maybe listing by title. So you have that option. And then, of course, you have the toggle favorite feature, enable or disable this. And I like to keep that enabled because that's one great thing about listing pages is being able to bookmark your favorite listings and events. Are there templates for King Composer also? I'm thinking I would want the option to have an app. So with the building of the app with King Composer, there are specific widgets that you have to use with King Composer in the app. Nothing else will work. And it won't look right and it won't function correctly. If you're looking to build with King Composer on the website, I don't know of any templates that have been made. I personally use Elementor just because it's what I've been using for the past 2 years. So there's no templates available for King Composer, but there are elements that you can use with King Composer that WilCity has developed specifically for this theme. So you can use those. But for the most part, I don't know of any templates that people have made for King Composer pages. Business hours, we have the default opening, closed, second opening, and a second closed. If you're going to be using this maybe for a bunch of banks or something like that, and you know that all banks are from 9 to 5, then you can set this. But if you're not going to be using it in a traditional store, I would just say to just leave it blank. The templates I'm choosing are only from Elementor. Not sure what you're asking there. I haven't done anything Elementor related with this video so far. So this is for anyone building the website with any page builder. So this is not Elementor related just yet. Everything I've done is global. Add listing general settings. So here's an important part. Unchecked features, meaning the fields that you don't add to the add listing form. You either want them to show on the add listing page, but they'll be disabled, meaning they'll be grayed out so people can't actually fill them out, but they'll still be visible. Or you can just completely hide them altogether. Now, I'm more of a fan of hiding it altogether because I don't want people to think that they're trying to like click on the field and then they get frustrated and then they email you saying, I can't fill this out. And then you tell them, well, your package doesn't include that. And they're like, well, why do I have to pay for this? And it's just going to be a whole ordeal. So that's just a mess. I usually just say it should not be shown on ad listing page. When you create a page, you choose from a template. Yes. So that is for any template. So underneath of the page attributes in the template, these are all WilCity based ones. So no matter what page builder you have, this is what you're going to choose for specific pages. Now, when I chose this WilCity map and I made it for this, you will not edit this page with either King Composer, Elementor, WordPress, whatever you have. You will not edit this page because WilCity will automatically populate this page with the content it needs. And let me show you. So you see I have nothing on here on the front end. And if I update this page and I view the page, you see that it's automatically generated the map view and it has all of my search and stuff on the left. I didn't do anything on the back end. Everything still says completely blank and it's just the title right here. So we don't have to worry about adding content when we choose page templates over here that begin with WilCity. Now, Elementor Canvas and Elementor Full Width, those are the only ones that have been added because I installed Elementor. these are some things that I'm going to be using to build the pages out with. User plan and user info are also WilCity generated pages. No, you're not a pain. You're good. You're good. I just want to make sure that everyone understands, just so that's what this video is for, so everybody can configure the theme in the best correct way. Now the skip preview step. Sometimes I've had people fill out all the information, they click next, and then they see their listing as it will be on the front end, which is always great. They get to see what it looks like, they get to make any changes they want to, but sometimes that's where they stop and they're like, oh cool, my listing's live, and then they just close the page, and then they come back a week later and say, why don't I see my listing? So if you're communicating it correctly, then I would say leave this enabled. Leave this disabled, because you do not want to skip the preview step. But for me, I always enable it because I don't want to do the preview step, and it just confuses people sometimes. So I just do that. Click save. Booking settings, if you installed that booking.com plugin, this is where you're going to put your affiliate ID. I personally have not done anything with this, but if you need to do it, then click on the link and you can figure out how to add the booking.com stuff. Google AdSense, if you're going to be showing Google Ads on your website, you're going to need to insert the script that they give you into your header. Use an insert header footer plugin, and then you're going to need the client ID and slot ID. And then wherever you want the content to be for the Google Ads, above the listing content, below, do not show whatever you want it to be. Blog, this is the blog archive page. So if you're using the standard WilCity blog archive page, then you have your excerpt length and the default featured image that you want for your blogs, which we've been discussing the same thing for listings, events, everything. You can upload a default image there. Sidebars. So your blog sidebar. So this is your blog archive sidebar if you want left, right, or none. Single post, same thing, left, right, or none. Single event, page, listing, and then your WooCommerce shop sidebar, left, right, or none. These are all pertaining to whatever you want to do. Usually I disable sidebars altogether, but for a directory theme it's great because you can show ads, you can show promoted listings on the sidebar, so you have all those different options. Social networks is the social networks for the website that you're building. This is what you're going to be including. So I'm building wilcitydev.wordpressdevurl.com, and maybe I have a Facebook page and a Twitter page. So I add my links here. And the way you show these links on the front end is with the widgets section underneath of appearance. You have that option to show. And you can always disable them here if you don't want to show them. You have all those settings for all your social networks right there. Your 404 page, if you want an image background, your heading, you can have a little bit of customization over here if you want to try editing your 404 page. Your footer. So if you want to add items to your footer, you have the option of 432. And then, of course, you can change the copyright notice at the bottom. And you're going to see those towards here at the bottom. Let's see if I can get it to show. Yep, down the bottom. Your copyright down here. And then, of course, if you add widgets, your widgets will appear up here above that bar. So you have those options right there. Customize URL. So if you want to add your parent location to a permalink, you can enable this. If you do that, make sure that you save your permalinks underneath of these settings and then permalinks, and make sure you save it twice. Now, this is going to add the location. So that location right here underneath of listings, the listing locations, the parent location, it's gonna add that to the URL. And then if you want to do more with the single listing settings, there's a full tutorial on how to do so right here. You can add your listing locations, your listing categories, and these little percentages to percentages is what you're going to want to add to your site. So for example, if you want your listing location and the listing category to be on in your listing permalink settings, all you have to do is just paste that in and then make sure you have that / right in there. But that's basically all you have to do. And as soon as you do that, make sure you save your permalinks. anytime you save anything that has to do with the URLs. Under advanced settings, so we have Google Fonts. So if you add Google Fonts to your website, if you're using them, then go in there and go to the fonts.google.com, get the font you want, and you can paste this URL right into there if you're going to be using anything different. It works great, especially if you're going to do it on mobile. For the theme color, this is going to be the theme color of your site. So right now we have this lovely pink. And if we want this to be different, we can do blue. And click Save Changes. We'll refresh. And we've got blue. The Add More sidebar, if you want to add a custom sidebar, you can just create custom ones over here, and it will add it to the underneath of the widgets over here on the left hand side. Custom CSS code, so any code that you see in the WilCity group or any group that has to do with adding CSS, this is where you're going to enter it. There's a couple different places you can enter it, like such as under appearance and customize. But for this theme, it's going to be best if you add it underneath of custom CSS code. So make sure you add it under here. Same with JavaScript code. If you want to add it here, you can do that. If not, use the insert header and footer plugin right there. And then click Save Changes. Now, when it comes to this theme color, these preset ones, the cyan, blue, pink, red, these are all great. And as you can see on the front end, this is blue. But this is probably not the blue you were thinking it was going to be. And if you think about it, when you're building an app, it's going to pull this custom color, not this color, I'm sorry. It's going to pull this custom color into the header of your app. And it's going to be a different blue than this. It's going to be like that bright blue that you see in RGB. So what I would suggest doing is clicking custom, selecting the color, and then you manually selecting whichever color you want or paste in the code. But I would suggest you do this just so it's the same across your app and across your website. I would just say make sure you do that. For now, I'm just going to choose that nice coral color and click Save. And we can see that on the front end change right there. Mobile general settings. Now, if you're going to build the mobile app, this is something you might want to listen to. If you're not going to build the mobile app, maybe take a bathroom break. But the mobile app homepage, you're going to create a page for the mobile home app. The mobile app's homepage. Sorry about that. You're basically going to create a new page. I like to just name it app homepage, just so everyone knows what it is. And underneath of the template, under default template, you're going to choose the mobile app homepage right there and click Publish. Now, I know I told you earlier, anything that you choose over here on the right-hand side that begins with WilCity, you're not going to edit the content. But this is a little bit different. This is where you're going to edit the content for your homepage. Now, let's go over here. Let's refresh. And let's choose the mobile app homepage right there. App homepage. The secure auth key, you're basically just going to click this link that's underneath of here. Pulls up this. I don't want to translate this page. You're going to pull it in from the first one all the way to the last letter. Notice how I did not pull in. Let me just zoom in on this a little bit. Notice how I did not pull in these apostrophes right here. You do not need to pull those in. Just pull in the letters and numbers from it. And we're going to paste that right in there. Token expiration means how long do you want the people to be able to log in on the app without having to re-log in on their app. 15 days, 30 days, 7 days, 500 days, whatever you want it to be, you can choose it here. 30 days is pretty standard. Listings order by on the app. This is all app, not website. So when you're on the listing page of the app, how do you want to do your order of listings for that? I usually do by title and ascending. Click Save Changes. All right, from there, we have the email contents. Now, this is that plugin I mentioned earlier, the email template plugin. And now, so that we have this feature enabled because we have this plugin installed. These are all the emails that are going to be sent from your website to all of your customers based on what they're doing. So put in your admin email, change your brand to whatever you have, and then we have the welcome subject. So this is going to be an email, this welcome right here. It's going to be an email that's sent to them when they register. It's going to say, hey, welcome. Give them a little bit more information. You can put HTML in here if you want to. It's just going to be a welcome email. The confirmation email that we mentioned earlier, that they have to confirm their email address, I would suggest not changing this. But if you do, make sure you're using these percent to percent right here for these dynamic links. So make sure you're keeping those. Become an author. We have these sections right here. These two right here, there's subject and then the message. So make sure you enter your subject in, saying something like you're an author with an exclamation point or something like that. And then you have all of this information right here. And you can always add a link right here so they can submit a listing. Review notification. If they get a review, this is what the message is going to say. Reporting, things of that nature. So you go through here and make sure that you add all of your subjects and go through and reread all of these messages so that you know exactly what you want to do, have sent to you in the messages for the emails. You have all of these different ones. It's great. You can control them all, which is awesome. Options object. You don't need to worry about this. Import export. This is if you want to export all of these settings that we just went through. You can export it down here. Download data file or copy data file, and you can just import it all here on the other site. So that's a great way to do all of this settings so you don't have to keep resetting them all up. All right, well, that's just theme options. There's a lot of different options for that. We still have a little bit to go with a couple of other menus. But if you have any questions about theme options, let me know right now. I'm going to take a quick couple second break real quick. All right. Now we have the WilOak tools. We already went through the WilOak tools and installed all the pages, which is good. The claim settings. So this is if you want to enable claims on your website. If you want people to be able to click claim business, fill out their information, which is going to be what this is, and then you can approve them or not based on what they filled out. Now, I would suggest doing their first and last name, phone number. Phone number's on here twice, it looks like. Let's get rid of that one. Phone number, and then introducing yourself if you want. But if you want a paid claim, then you're going to click add field. And you're going to go to field type. And it's going to be packages. And you're going to need to make this required. Make the field label, choose a package to claim. Something like that. And then we're going to go and set up our add listing plans to it later on. But if you want to have paid claims, then you're going to need that packages there. Click save. Now, when you're on pages like this, you see how there's a tab up here? Sometimes there's other tabs. So make sure you're always checking to make sure that you've gone through all the tabs to set up whatever you need to set up. For the events, you can toggle this on and off. Toggle being able to comment on events. If they submit it, do you want it to be immediately approved? And then the comment discussion right there. If you want people to be able to discuss on the thread, you can do that as well. And then we have our field settings. So these are all the fields that people are going to have to type information in order to submit an event on your website. So of course we're going to need the listing title, which is always usually the event name. You have all of your settings here. You can change the section icon, and then of course you have your listing title, and then you have the label if you want to add a label. Featured image. So this is going to be that cover image on the events if you want to add that, and if you want to make that required or not. And then of course you're going to need the event calendar because you're going to need to know when this event's going to take place. So make sure you have that as well. Maybe change it from a certificate. Maybe let's click on the green, and then we can actually change it to be maybe a calendar icon or of some sort. We can just make it so that it actually pertains to the events a little bit. All right, so we have those options there. You can always drag in more information. So if you want listing content, you can do that. So if you want to be able to get like some more information, like a description, you can do that right there. Just click and drag that right into it and just click Save Changes. Single content. So this is what's going to be displayed on the actual event page. The description. So if we want that, we would definitely want to have the description on there. So we have the listing content. We can choose whichever one we want. And then we can actually rename the section to be whatever we want. So if we want it to be like ticket information, we can always do that. Search form. So the search form is going to be for whatever page you have the event set to. So we're going to go under Add New Page. And we're going to go to Events. And then underneath of Template, we have Event Plans, which is not what we want. We have Event Template. WilCity Event Template. That's what we want. So we'll do that. All of these are going to show so that you can actually filter using any of these items. Now this is a bit much for me for events. So basically, I get rid of region. I don't really need categories. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Cat tags, price range. Obviously not open now. Recommended, no. You need to have the type one here. And you see up here there's a notice. You need to have types. Select to is a required field. So make sure you have that here. And then you have, of course, most viewed if you want to keep that. I would suggest to rename some of these. So like where to look, you could just name this location. Change the radius if you want. So the max radius of 100 miles. And then the default radius, maybe you can make that 10. And then you can change it to kilometers or miles. We have the what are you looking for? We can replace that with just regular word search. And of course we have the event date. We can always have that there. So we click Save. I like to make it pretty simple. I don't really have to make it too complicated when searching. But you have all of these options. You can just click and drag right down below. The hero search form. So if you remember, we saw the hero here. So this search form right here is going to be what we're talking about, the event. We can add some fields here so that we can customize that. Right now we have where to look, which is a location. And we have category, which is always great, but maybe we want event date. So let's click and drag that down there. So we have the event date right there. Click Save. Schema markup. This is already done for us, so we really don't have to do anything else. If you want to customize this, feel free to go ahead if you're that knowledgeable on schema, but for the most part, you won't need to change any of that. Listing settings is going to be basically everything that we just did with events, but it's going to be for pertaining to listings only. So we have a lot of different things here, and a lot of this is stuff that you can get rid of if you want to, if you're not offering that. But a lot of this is something that you really have to have. So each of these is a section on the form. Underneath are different fields. So we have like 3, 4 to 5 different fields right here that people can add. So let's do this. Listing title, we obviously need the listing title. That's really going to be their business name, so you can change that to be business name or whatever you want it to be. Tagline is always nice to have if you want, but don't make it required if you don't need to. The logo, obviously something that you're going to need, so we keep the logo. Name it to business logo or something like that. Make it required if you want to. If not, it's going to pull from that default logo that we enabled earlier. Cover image. Now I usually toggle this off because I like to use the featured image instead. The reason for that is the cover image doesn't always get used in all of the elements and in the app, but the featured image does. So I would just recommend toggling this off for cover image. Featured image, let's go to this. Now, instead of calling this featured image, I usually just call this cover photo. just because people know what a cover photo is rather than a featured image. They're more familiar with that Facebook interface and the Twitter interface for uploading cover photos. And you can make this required or not if you want to. Contact information for the business. Name any of these sections whatever you want. So we have the email. If they don't enter their email, they won't get like notifications or anything. So that's always something if you want to enable that. Phone number. We have the website if they want to put their address, URL address, and then we have social networks. Now, they're going to enter their social networks in for all of them if they want, but if you want to disable some of them like WhatsApp, then you can always do that. You just click on whichever ones you want to disable so that there's just a list of ones that you can do right there. So we have all of these options right there. And then if you want to get rid of one, just click on the X over here on the right hand side. You can name this social networks, whatever you want, social URL, and then add social, so they can add multiple ones at one time. Coupon, if you're going to run maybe a restaurant site or a shopping site or something like that, you want to enable people to be able to upload their own coupons. This is a great way to do it, and it looks great. You can have the title, so you definitely want to have a title. The highlight, pop-up coupon image, and then it tells you what's suggested. And then you have the description if you want to enable those. Coupon codes so they can actually like use it on your website or something like that. The description, and then if you want it to redirect to a specific page on your website, you can also do that when they click on the coupon for that. So there's those options there. I don't really use coupons too much, but it's great if you want to use it for like a restaurant site or a shopping site. Categories. So if you want to have the categories here, so they can actually tag themselves in different categories on the listings so that they can be found easier. You have the option to enable or disable. And then we have the is required or not. And if you want to search for categories, use an ajax. So this is recommended if you have over like 100 categories on your website. They can actually just start typing in their category and it will start to search for the category. If not, when they click on the field for the category, it's just going to give them a drop down. And if they're just scrolling and scrolling, it's going to take some time. We have the term ID, so we can order this by count or name, slug, or term ID, whatever you want it to be. And then I usually do term ID by name. Order by name and then ascending. And then what's the maximum amount of categories that they can actually choose for their particular business? 1, 2, 4, 5, whatever you want. Listing tags are also great if you want to run like a hotel agency or something like that where you're managing different hotels and you want them to be able to select different features for their hotels, like they offer a pool, they offer a bar, gym, things like that. That's really what this is for. Business hours, they can specify their own business hours. You can set the default opening time if you want to do that here as well. Always open or no hours available or something like that, whatever you want to do. Single price, so you can enable the prices so people can actually add their pricing here, or they can do a price range here. So if they're selling like a single product, they have just one price. Or if they're like a boutique and they're ranging from $10 to $40, you have that option to give them that way to show them on the front end there. Listing addresses. So the region is really for the listing locations. If you want to enable listing locations for your website, I usually turn it off because I don't use it, but it's great if you're doing like across for me, I'm just doing like a local businesses in my county, but it's great if you're doing things like cross country or something like that, and you want to enable the region, and you can actually just maybe title this location or city, something like that. You can make it required or not, order the terms by name, whatever you want to do, and have the maximum amount of listing cities or regions that you have. If you want to enable them to be able to submit their Google address, you have it here. Usually I just change that to business address. Enable this. You can set a starting location. So on the starting location, when they're adding the form, it's going to be in some other city besides yours, most likely. It's not going to be in the one that you're in. Let's see if I can go to the members page real quick. So as you can see right here, I'm located in the United States, but this is not in the United States right now. So we are going to set the default to something different. Now, this is not for this, but for when they add a listing and then they choose their location address. So you can go to latlong.net and you can actually choose a place. Let's go to New York. And we have our latitude here. Let's paste that, put a comma, and then we have our longitude. Paste that. Default zoom, I usually like to do 16 or 15 as I showed before. And if you want them to, if you're using the map feature, they will not show on the map if they do not have an address associated with their listing. Now, it doesn't have to be a full exact address. It could be a city and state if they want to, but it's got to have some type of address associated with their listing in order to be shown on this map page. So, if you're doing that, making sure you make this required. Listing title. Now, if we're using the header block, we can remove this. And let me just go to the top. So we have this header block right here in which we are using it. Let me collapse some of these just so we have some more room to see the header block. So we are using that. So we're just going to get rid of this by clicking the X over here on the right hand side. Now, a few of these, the My Products, My Room, and the Booking.com. This is if you're going to be using Doken, the My Products. So if you are, then you can enable this and they can actually select their products to associate with their listing. My Room is if they're using like a booking, like being able to book using WooCommerce booking on their website. You can actually do that with this theme. You can allow people to book for different services and things like that on a per listing basis. So if you're going to do that, I would suggest keeping this here and just renaming it from My Room to Booking or something like that. And then Booking.com, create a banner. If you have this enabled, this is where they can add all of their buttons and their banners and things like that. Video URLs, if you want them to be able to upload their own your videos to the website, this is where you're going to allow that. You can make it required or not. You can make it have an add more button, whatever you want it to be. This is where you can add it. And of course, the gallery, they can upload a gallery of images right here. Upload it and make it required or not. It's up to you guys, however you want to do that. Let's click save. All right. If you need any custom fields that you're making here, those are all in this top section. You can add as many fields as you want. For the listing card, we have new features that were just released. We have the total views at the top, so we can actually see the amount of total views. Let's see if they've got this updated on their site. So right now, instead of the total views, they have the mail us right here. And you can see that. And we have that option if we just click on email us. And then there's also the call us. But maybe you want to see like total views so they can see the amount of total views there. Can you explain the new import options for the Willow tools? Sure, give me a sec, Charlie. Would some of these options be hidden depending on what the package they have chosen allows for it? Yes, Andrew, and we will get to that underneath of the listing plans right here. Total views, we can change this as we want. The card body, so this is the body right here. So as you can see, there's an address and a phone number here. And we can change the address and phone number to be whatever we want. So if we want the website, we could do that. Just change the icon here. Or if you want the category, or if you want a custom field, you have all of those different options here. And then the card footer. So as you can see, there's a footer right here and it's got the restaurants. And then we have the taxonomy here. So there's all of that right there for you guys. If you guys want to export the settings for the listing cards and things like that, all you have to do is just click on the export, copy this, and then when you're ready to import it into another site, paste it right into the import data and click import. And then it's going to replace all your settings. You just click OK, and then everything should be the same from the other website. Reviews, if you want to allow reviews on the website, you can turn it on here. If you want the reviews to be immediately approved once they're submitted, you can toggle that on or off. If you want them to be able to discuss reviews threads, you can turn this on or off. And if you want them to be able to upload images to the reviews that they submit, you can toggle that on or off. Do you know why there are two hearts on the card layout, top and bottom? I don't. I have no clue why it's there. I'm guessing it's an oversight on WilCity's part. I'm sure that they will be quick to fix it if somebody has brought it up to them. You have the score scale 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. And then, of course, you can add your rating details here. Now, this one's already default, so overall. But you can add different categories. So maybe you can put, you know, customer service. Customer service. Make sure you add keys and things like that if you want to make it so they can do quality. And then you can do quality there as well. So you can have different categories there that they can review based on. Oh, good. Well, then hopefully they have a fix once they come back from their Lunar New Year. And then we save our changes, and then we have all of those settings down here as well. Single highlight box. Now this is something that is pretty cool. This is something that the people are going to see on their own listings. They're the only ones that's going to see it, and it's going to be between that menu and the bottom part. So let me show you guys an example of what this would look like real quick. Hang on 1 second. Let me pull it up. Log in. Let's see if I even have it enabled. But if you enable this and click yes, you can choose the amount of boxes in it per row, and then you can do 1, 2, 3, or 4. Let's see if their documentation works. No. So we have that enabled. Let's go to, I'm looking on another site that I made, see if it's enabled. No, it's not. Let me enable it real quick. And I'm going to do 2 items. Let me add a new section. Let me save it. Okay, 1 second, guys. I'm pulling this up real quick. Let's see. Let's see if I can pull this up real quick, just to show you guys what it looks like. And if you're not familiar with what it looks like, okay, I've got it set up here. Let me change this background color and hit save. Okay, so basically it's right here underneath of here is what it's going to be. So you can have 1, 2, or 3 boxes here, and then when they click on this, it'll do a specific action that you choose underneath of these settings right here. So let's try it. We'll add a new section because we've got 3 that we can show. We could do add photo video, so they can quickly add a photo or a video to their website. Let's choose a background for that. And then let's do add new photo. We'll add a new section. Let's say we want to put like a custom link for them to be able to get support. So we can always do our full link. And then we can do our support URL there if we want to. And then we can have get help. And we're going to choose a different icon for that. Maybe we want to do a lifesaver, like a life buoy. And then we'll do bright yellow just so they know what they're doing there. Let's just stick with 2 for now. But yeah, so let's hit save. And that's basically going to pop up right here under these sections once we show the front end. Single navigation is going to be that bar up here at the top that you'll see. Let's go to 1 right here. Single navigation is going to be right there. These right here, these tabs right up here. And of course, it's going to be all of this content on the left-hand side column right over here is what we're talking about for the single navigation. We have the ability to hide any of these options or show them and then configure them differently if we need to. So we have coupons. If you show on home, means that it's going to show on the home section over here on the left-hand side. Show on navigation means it's going to show up here in this top navigation right there. Now there's some times where you may want to show it on the home, but not in the navigation. For example, maybe like your description. You really don't want to have a link up here for description, but you want the description to show down here on the home. That's why they provided two different settings. So you can go through and show on home if you want or not. Photos, maximum amount of photos, whatever you want to do. Show on navigation, yes. Show on home, yes. So go through and you can choose whatever you want for here. Listing features, those are your tags, as you can see right there. And then if you go down to the bottom, listing taxonomy is going to be the taxonomy, and then you can choose your key here if you have multiple taxonomies. So those are all your settings for there. I'm not really going to go through all of these just because it's a lot of repetition. So you go through, change your name right here, change a couple of the settings here, and then if you want to show on navigation or if you want to show it on home, those are all of your settings for that. Single sidebar, it's going to be a little bit different. So it's everything over here on the right hand side. All of this settings over here on the right hand side for the sidebar. We have the options to do all of that. Now, if they don't enter any information in, it's not going to show. So you really don't have to worry about hiding it or not hiding it if you're not having it in the add listing form. So you have your business hours, and you can rearrange these however you want. So if you want the clean listing to be at the top, just slide that to the top. You have the map. If you want the map to be towards the top, you can do that. Business hours at the bottom, taxonomy at the top. Just rearrange it however you need it to be. And you can click Save Changes. The search form. This is going to be the search form on like the map page that we showed you right here. So we have that right there that we can change. You have all of your settings are going to be like the same that we mentioned before. So for listings, we really don't need event date. We could change this to search. We could change this to location. You can update all of your radius and your max miles, kilometers, things of that nature. Regions, categories, you can search by category, search by tags, search by price range, and open now makes sense in this one because people are actually have businesses and you can choose those. Most viewed, the recommended, ratings, things like that. Remember to always keep the type select to enabled for that. And now that we've changed a couple things there, you see what it used to look like. And if we refresh, it's going to show us the new options. So we changed it to search, changed it to location, and got rid of a bunch of other stuff there. We have the hero search form, which is going to be the same thing that we saw on this one right here for the event, but it's just going to be for the listings. So once it loads, we have the listing over here on the left, and we have our ability to add different fields there. So we have where to look, the location, and then we have the category here if we want to add that. And of course, you have all of these available fields up at the top. Schema markup's the same. It's already done for us, so we can just leave it the way we want. If you, like I said, if you know more about schema, if you want to change a few things, feel free to do so. All right, that is all of the settings for listing settings. Does anybody have any questions for that? Is it possible to change the error message that shows when there are no listings under those search terms? I think I noticed bad use of English on it. Yeah, there is a little bit. So there are some ways that you can change the wording for pretty much everything on this theme. So let's try and go through this together, and let's take a break from setting it up and look at this real quick. We're going to go and install a new plugin called Say What. This is going to allow us to change a few things terminology wise on the website. It's this one with the, I'm guessing it's a lamb. Install now. Once this is done installing, we're going to go ahead and click activate. We're going to go underneath of the tools, and we got text changes now. We're going to add a new one. Now the original string, we just copy and paste what it says before. And the text domain name, it's going to be one of a few things. And they do have examples on their website of how to do this. I mean, on their knowledge base. So it's either going to be WilCity, WilCity Listing Tools, or WilCity Shortcodes. I'm going to guess it's going to be WilCity Tools for this particular instance. Skip text content. And with placement string, we could put, sorry, no members found on this search thread. Something like that. We can change it to whatever we want, but for the most part, let's just keep it like that. Let's see if it worked. And this is a little bit trial and error because you got to figure out which one of these it is. So there it is, right there. Sorry, no members found on our search thread. Boom. There we go, Andrew. You have all of that to be able to do right there. And I think I posted a thread in the WilCity group that shows how to do something similar. So pretty much anything that you're thinking, like this add listing button top right, you can change that easily to become a member or whatever you want. I've done that a couple times. As long as you just figure out what it is, like that is part of the listing tools because it's like part of the listing tools plugin. But some other things are part of the theme, so you're just going to choose WilCity instead underneath of the text domain name. So it's really trial and error, and they have some information in the knowledge base about pursuing that further. But yeah, not a problem. You can change whatever you want for that. Alrighty. Let's go to promotions. Promotions are great because it allows you to basically, if you're familiar with boosting posts on Facebook, then you're going to be able to use promotions with WilCity. Toggle this on. You can put some information in the pop-up description if you want to, but we can always just add a plan here. Package name. So let's do the silver boost. Available days. Let's make it 7 days. It's going to cost them $10. Position. Now, listing sidebar, it's going to basically be on the listing sidebar for a single listing item. And let me show you an example. So if you go to, let's do this one. Listing sidebar is going to be this one over here on the right hand side. That. It's going to be over here on this right hand side sidebar, as you can see. Listing location sidebar. So on that single listing location category page, it's going to appear there. Same with the category and tag. Blog sidebar. I mean, a lot of this is plain English. Listing slider, listing grid, top of search. So it's always going to appear at the top of search results, no matter what. So it's always going to appear number 1. So there's a lot of different items that you can do here. Now the preview URL is a little bit something that's not really touched on. It's going to be basically a visual guide to where their listing is going to be on the website. It's going to be like in this tiny thumbnail. I know if you ask them for the preview URL for promotions, maybe in like a support thread, that they'll give you like a Dropbox link, because they do have some. So I would definitely say to contact them to get some pre-made. But otherwise, you're going to have to make your own. Where is it? Over here. And maybe screenshot this. Just like so. And then maybe highlight that section in red so they know that that's where it's going to be. It's a little bit of work to get that set up, but it'll work great if you just ask them for their copy. And if you're using WooCommerce, you can always associate it with a WooCommerce product instead. But I don't have WooCommerce installed because I don't want to do that. So we can always just hit save changes. And we can add more plans if we want. So we have all those options right there. Quick search form. So at the top of this website, you have this form right here. We have that quick search form. It pops up in a pop-up with their categories below. Right now, it's weird because it says it's toggled, it's enabled. But if we go to our website, we clearly see that it's not enabled. So a little bit of a bug there. But if we turn it off and then save, and if we turn it back on, save, and we refresh, we should be able to see it. There it is. Click on that. We have that what are you looking for there. And if we go underneath of the taxonomy suggestion title, that's what this is right here. Right there, that title right there. And then here's all the category listings right here, which is the terms right here, whatever you want to do here. And you can exclude directory types, so you can just do one or the other. Order the suggestions by count, which is going to be the most popular. I would suggest to do it by count. And then suggestion order by descending right there. You'll want to do something like that. So that way it always provides the one with the most count, just like they have here. So that's always great. But if you have a large menu, if you have a lot of menu items up here in this top menu, you're going to want to probably disable that so that, because there's a little bit of a room issue up there. Notification settings. So I've done a video for WilCity specifically on how to do these notification settings. And since it requires a lot of personal API information and stuff like that, I'm not going to do it right now. But definitely check out the video. I'll link it down in the comments below on how to set up your Firebase, your push notification, and your push notifications to customers. It's really simple. Probably takes about 5 minutes for you to do it. And it always is great, so you can enable notifications for your mobile app. And you still need to do this if you're not using mobile app too. So, reports. So we have the toggle report. So if you want people to report listings on your website, toggle that on. And then you need to add a field setting. If you don't, your app might not work, and your website, no one's going to be able to report it. So add a field. Make it a text field or a text area, and then name it, why are you reporting this listing? Something like that. Whatever you want it to do, hit save. Real easy stuff there. And then the add directory type. This is if you want to add more than what's here for the directory types. And there's a couple things you can do here with the existing ones just to change it. Like, for example, I'm doing members, so I don't want it to be called listings. So what I did was I just changed it to member, singular name, change that to member, members, and then add member. So this is all you can change here. Don't change the key though. I just did it. You can add a new directory type and make it all member if you want to, but I just changed it to this one and just didn't change the key, and everything works fine for me. This background color we could change to be whatever we want. So let's do that. And then we have our icons here if we want to add that here. So let's choose member. It'll be the user one. And then, of course, this is event. So let's choose a ticket. Boom, right there. And then we can just click Save Changes right there. So notifications only work on the mobile at this time. And I'm not sure what's going to be happening with notifications on desktop. But right now, they only work on mobile. Disable on add listing front end. So that add listing page that we have right here, and it's not set up yet, so I can't really click on it. But the add listing page, if you don't want people to be able to add listings or events, then disable it here. It will disable it right there for you. No problem. So we have all of that. Now we've pretty much set up the entire theme. We have all of our things set up. We have all of the single listings and all of that good to go. Now we need to set up people paying and all of our listing plans. So let's go to listing plans, all plans, add new, and let's name this silver package. We're going to go to set this plan to member plan and click execute. Make sure you always click execute. Firebase is basically a Google tool that allows you to do a lot. It's a powerful tool that Google has created that slowly WilCity is integrating. So it allows them to do push notifications. It allows them to do chat, things of that nature. Being able to log in and store login information in the cloud so that it's all in one database so that it can be cross-platform. And also analytics for apps. There's just so much that you can do. And if you're more interested in hearing about it, you can go to console.firebase.google.com. And then once you've done that, you can get a little bit more information on what Firebase does, and actually how to use it and things like that. So it's really for like app-based stuff. It is pretty awesome. It is pretty amazing. So I named the package. I executed this to the member plan. If you're using WooCommerce, do the product alias. Is it recommended? So it'll add like a little, like recommended badge if you click yes, and then you can change the description. If you want to exclude this from the paid claim, so for example, if you're doing a paid claim and you only want them to be able to choose one package, you can always choose this so that it can exclude it. The plan settings, if you want it to be a free plan, do 0.00. If you want it to be a paid plan, type in the paid plan price. Availability of listings is how many listings they can submit when they purchase this single plan. So they purchase this plan one time, you want them to be able to only submit one listing. That's fine. You want them to be able to submit 5 listings. That's fine as well. This is where you would choose all of that. Now here's what we were talking about earlier with being able to choose which options you can and cannot have per price plan. So if you don't want them to be able to upload a featured image, turn that off. Same thing with sidebar statistics. If you don't want them to be able to see that, disable that. Business hours, disable it. All of the nice things that they can add for free plans and like basic plans, you'll most likely want to disable them so that they purchase higher up plans, so that you can get more money, which is always great. Phone number, you can disable whatever you want to disable there. Maximum amount of gallery images that can be uploaded in a single listing. If you leave it empty, they can upload unlimited. If you put 5, then they can only upload 5 if they choose this pricing plan. And so go on and see here. Same thing with maximum amount of videos. Trial period means if you want to let them try this for 7 days and then they have to pay, this is where you do it. 7 days right there, and then they'll have to pay. Period day means how long do you want this listing plan to last? Do you want it monthly? Do you want it yearly? If you want a monthly, type in 30. If you want it yearly, type in 365. If you want it quarterly, type in 90, right? 90 for each quarter, something like that. So yeah, you have that. Maybe you want to not show Google ads on premium plans, so disable that. But you want it to show on free plans, so you add a new plan called free, and you enable it. Because, hey, you're not paying me money, I'm going to get some money from you with Google ads. But if you are paying me money, then I'll disable it because, hey, you're already paying me money, no need to show ads on your listing. Coupon, same thing, showing promotion listings. That could be the same thing as Google ads. You don't want to show promotion listings on your website on the listing if they're paying, but you may want to show them if they're not paying. Things like that. We have all those different options. Now under here, you can do a checkbox of like what is and is not included into it. And if you go to their support page and go to the listing plan section, we can add the ability to show like check marks and things like that. Here, let's see. Set up claim listing. There's a section in there in their knowledge base. Setting up package. Of course, it's the last one on the page. You can do all of this. Let's see. And then you have their video that they have there that shows how to do that. Wish I could find it. Setting up ad listing page. Purchasing. But yeah, there's basically just some code that you can do that allows you to set up like nice check marks and stuff like that. Set up listing pricing. That might be it. No, of course it's not. So yeah, you can just paste it into their text and you can have it right there. Click publish. Make sure you click publish, and underneath of all plans you'll be able to see the packages there. Now that we have a package, let's go to Willow submission, and we're going to set up all of this. So if you want to be able to have people submit posts to your website, like the members and events, make sure this is enabled. Become an author. Now this is something that a lot of people have had questions about, and it's not like it's the best worded because it says become an author. So basically, become an author is something that allows members to come up, and you have basically two registrations on your site at this point in time. People who are subscribers who can basically bookmark, contact the listing people, and things like that, and cannot um, add listings. And then you'll have the authors who can add listings. Now, if you enable this, you have to go through a couple different things like add another become an author page that you make and set the template like we've shown you before. But toggle become an author, they'll put a button at the top that says become an author. And then as soon as they become an author, they agree to the terms and conditions, and then they get that add listing button at the top of the website. So it's a way for you to add two different member types to your site, one being people who are going to submit listings and one that's not going to submit listings. So that's a great way to do that. The debug, you can just keep that disabled. Your brand, you're going to want to fill that out again, whatever you want it to be. Approval method. This is the approval method for your events and things like that, your listings and stuff. Automatically approval after payment success, or do you want to manually review this? If you don't want to worry about having to approve everyone, then just click on automatically approved. If you want to manually approve, then you go through and you click manually approve. Automatically delete unpaid listing. This is if they are submitting their listing and they never paid. When do you want to delete this? How long do you want to give them to pay for this? So, and it says a robot will automatically check unpaid listings each day, and if it's been submitted for this many hours, so this is all in hours, it will be deleted. And if you take that out, then that disables the feature. So this is in hours. People editing their listings. So you have a few different options here. You can not allow anybody to edit. You can editable and have it immediately approved, or you need to review it before republishing. Whichever one you want, it's all your preference. Move listing to expired store after blank days. So when a listing is expired, it's going to be moved to the expired section after this many days. It's just going to be temporarily removed from the front end so that they give them the option to renew it. If you wanted to remove it immediately, then you just click and type in 0. But if you want to give them a little bit of room and leeway, you can give them however many days you want. Package settings. So you notice this automatically added the package that we made earlier. If for some reason you forgot to execute it inside the listing plans, you can click on it and click your package here and it will do it for you. If you have the free claim listing, you go here and maybe you made a listing plan called free, and you can just select that here. Same thing with events. So if you want to do that, you can actually assign it to them. Usually I do separate ones for events just so I can keep track of everything. So make a new plan for events and then they can have that. Default plan for free event claim. So if you're having a free event claim, then you can do that as well. Here you can make a default for them for when they claim it. It'll be whatever default you choose to be here. Let's see, we have payment general settings. This is going to be all pertaining to whichever one you want to do, Stripe or PayPal or bank. Can you drop an expired listing to a free package until it's paid for again? You can. You have to do it manually, and I'll show you how to do that once we add a listing plan, a listing to the website. But yes, you can do it manually. So payment general settings, basically underneath your payment gateways, you got to choose what you're going to do. PayPal, Stripe, or direct bank transfer, or all the above. It's up to you guys. Your mode, sandbox or live. Make sure you remember to choose live once you're ready to go live. I forgot to change it to live, and no one could check out on my website, so it didn't work. Your currency position, depending on where you are, whatever you want it to be. And then, of course, like I said, your payment gateways. Your billing type. So the billing type, you can either have non-recurring payment, so it's just a one-time fee, or recurring payment subscription. Or current payment subscription only works with PayPal and Stripe. Right now, you cannot have your setup with WooCommerce and have subscriptions. It's not available yet. It's coming in an update in the future. I'm hoping in the first quarter, but at this time, you cannot have recurring payments outside of the native WilCity payment system. We already set up our payment pages, so we have that. We have the add listing mode. We want them to select a plan before adding. Now, if you're going to be letting people do free ad plans, then you can just do free ad listing right there. Package page is done, ad listing page is done, checkout page is done. All of these pages are done. PayPal settings. Maximum failed payment amount. So PayPal is going to keep retrying to get that money from them when the time comes, however many times you specify in this section. 3 would be, so they'll try 3 times. After the 3rd time, it's going to be sent to the expired list, and from there, the settings that we sent above are going to be the ones that are sent there. Agreement text, you can change that if you want to. Initial fee, so if you want maybe to cover your initial fee for PayPal or something like that, you can set it up for for the recurring things. You can set an initial fee, so maybe like an initial application fee of $20, and then every year it's going to be $100. PayPal Sandbox and Live, you have to follow the documentation, and it took me a little bit to do this on my site, but once you get it set up, I mean, it works well. You have to go through their documentation to set up the client ID, the secret token, things like that. And I can't go through all of that in this video because there is a lot of private information there. So I won't be able to do that for you guys live. But go through there here. Let's do PayPal. Just search PayPal, setting up PayPal gateway. And then they have one for Stripe as well. Follow these through because this is the important part. Now, when you get down to this section, where is it? The event type settings. Now, what they did was, you see a little cutoff right here. So this isn't all in order. So just go through and read each check mark that they actually checked so that you can know which one goes where or which one you need to check. So make sure you go through all of these and don't just count how many number of non-check marks there are. So go through these manually and check them. But basically, it's full setup. It worked for me after a couple times, but you just have to go through it and just make sure you take your time with this section. PayPal Sandbox, always test the payment gateway before going live. If you don't, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. Developer accounts with PayPal are free. Just sign up, put in all your information, test it out, and after you're done testing it, flip the switch to live, and you'll be fine. You'll be good to go. Same with Stripe. It's got the information here to set it up on the documentation. So make sure you go through, take your time to set it up. Bank transfer, you have all of your bank account information here, and then there's directions on how to set it up as well. Sorry I can't help you guys out more with that because there's just too much personal information. I won't be able to do those live. Invoices, sales, subscriptions, session details. You don't need to worry about these. These are automatically going to get populated once you start getting transactions on your website. Claim settings. If you want to disable or enable the paid claim, you have this one random menu right here that allows you to do so. You can submit if you want to. All right. Well, we're set up. That's the entire theme set up in a nutshell. Let's add a new member just so we can get that shown. We're going to use, there's a company name. All right. We have our business hours, hour mode, things like that. You can choose all these manually. This is if you want to add it manually. And I'll show you guys what it looks like on a front end first. So let's refresh this. We have that ad listing. So, of course, let me verify myself real quick because I forgot I enabled that. So let's make sure I'm verified. I'm confirmed. Update profile. Let's go and let's refresh. course, now I'm having issues. All right. Not sure why it's not working. But for now, let's just turn it off. Because I actually don't think I have the confirmation page set. So, yeah, I don't have the confirmation page set, so that's probably why it's not working. So let's just disable that and save changes. Let's refresh. All right, I mean, do I have it set here? Let's go to listing tools. Oh, I'm sorry, listing plans. Add new. Let's save my perm links again. Going through all those steps just to see what's going on. Let's go to the pages. Make sure I've got my page set up. Package page. WilCity package page. Let's update that. Ah, that's the reason it's not working. All right, cool. Let's go to plugins. And it's not working because I don't have King Composer installed. So let's install that. I thought I installed that. I guess not. Let's install King Composer. So there's always a reason why something's not working. So King Composer, let's activate that. We'll go back to the package page and we're going to refresh this. All right, we're going to edit this with King Composer. We're going to delete this and I'm going to add a new one. Go to WilCity and it's going to be under the pricing table. And we have those options to change to here. So 3 item rows. Right now we only have one pricing plan. Keep that just the way it is. Hit save and update. And let's refresh. Alright, let's go to, click that, view page. Let's see what we've got. Would have figured that's why it's not working. Let's set this to event plans for now. And then we'll go back to package page. Let's make sure we have everything set up underneath of the appearance and theme options. I'm sorry, underneath of Willow submission. Let's do that. We'll go over here. Package page. Right there. Let's submit this page right here. KC is required, especially if you're doing the app. There we go. So once we re-add all of our pages, we have those two things there. So you see the icons that we chose earlier, and you see the background colors that we chose earlier, all underneath of Willow Tools and Add Directory Type. So you'll see the two background colors that we chose, the icons, and then our information here. So the add member, add event. So let's add member. We have that package that we did now. We did earlier. And we're going to choose get now. Now here's all of those things that we did earlier. We have all those sections right here that we added earlier. Business name, business logo that we changed it to earlier, email and things like that. If we want to, all of those items, remember how we took them off? We're going to just make sure that we have all of that confirmed here. Underneath the Willow Tools, sorry, appearance. Theme options. Yeah, KC is something that is required for this if you're going to continue to use this. They pretty much integrated this a little deeply into what's going on. Let's do this. Let's save and do this again. Enable the skip preview step. All right, so we've got the business team. We have all the information that we saw earlier. And we have all of those fields that we can just add right here. So we did the city that we did, the business address. You can see all the changes that we did right there. So that's what it's going to look like when they're adding their own, when they're adding their listing from the front end. Now, if we want to add one from the back end, let's go back to the one we were editing right here. And we can edit all the ones that people submit on the front end. We can edit them on the back end. We have all of this information. So the hour mode, time format, inherit, the theme options, time zone, we can do that as well. The products, if we enable the products, the rooms for booking, and then we have all of our general settings like the tagline, the logo, we can manually upload. Cover image is something that you, like I said, use the featured image instead of the cover image. Video URLs, things like that. Like I said, we can manually add all of this information. Now, what you guys were asking earlier for you, Andrew, being able to change things. So here's where it's going to be right here. You have your expiration, so you can manually set an expiration right here if you want. And then we have the belongs to plan. So if you have the plan here, start typing the plan name and you can actually choose whichever one you want to put there. And then as soon as you hit publish, it's going to downgrade them to whatever section, to whatever plan you wanted to downgrade them to. So especially if you wanted to go from a premium plan to a free plan, you can do that, but it would have to be done manually. They may be able to do it on the back end themselves. I know that they can upgrade plans. I've never actually seen if they can downgrade plans on the back end in their dashboard though. So you have all of those different options. And of course, you have the way to set it for claim or not claimed. And then you can edit all of the icons and buttons and things like that if you want to here. Listing locations on the right, your listing categories, tags. Like I said, use the featured image and you have all of that there. So basically, if you're changing any of their plans, it's not going to affect their package. It's not going to affect how much they're paying. It's a little difficult because they're saying, WilCity is saying that they can't really control too much of the PayPal and the Stripe subscriptions. So basically, here's the thing: if they choose a package and they bought it at $40, but you've increased your pricing to $50, they're going to continue to pay their $40, even if you change the pricing. Now, when you're changing their packages, it's going to do the same thing then, I believe. It's not going to change it on their end because I don't think it's going to communicate with PayPal or Stripe. That's something that WooCommerce subscriptions should fix. Basically, if they enable WooCommerce subscriptions, there's a way that with Woo, they can use discounts and things like that, and they'll take care of all of those things for you. So I'm sure that once that comes out, it's going to alleviate all of those issues. But actually changing the package on the back end, I actually don't think that that's going to change it on the front end for Stripe or PayPal. So would it apply to the admin from that point? No, nothing's going to apply to the admin, because if you go up to the top and if you let's see, once we publish this and refresh, it's going to have the author assigned to them. Wherever that is in here. I think I have to scroll up some more. But basically, they get assigned the author over here on the right-hand side if there's more than one author. But they'll still be responsible for that listing because it's still going to be assigned to them no matter what. I know it's not a definite answer, but it's the closest that I can provide you. I would say that if you have more questions about that, reach out to support. Support.wilcity.com, and then that's what I would suggest you doing for that. Yeah, so that's basically setting up WilCity from start to finish for the theme. Everything there. I assume you can take it away from them. Yes, you can. You can definitely take it away from them. Let me show you an example of how I can take it away from them. So under the WilCity Showcase website, you see all the different authors and things like that. So if I go to the website, if I go to the listing, I have the ability to change authors. So underneath of here, we could change the author right there. So we have that ability to do that. And as soon as you do that, it takes it away from their dashboard and puts it into whomever's dashboard you chose for the new author. So there's that. There's that way to do that as well. Let me go back to this. Hey Randy, yeah, you can always watch the replay. It's going to be up on YouTube as soon as we finish, so you'll be good to go. Thank you very much. Any other questions that anybody has? I didn't go into building pages because A, it all depends on which page builder you're using, and B, it really depends on the style of whatever pages you want to put on your site. So let's, for example, I'll add a new page. We'll call this one home. For me, I'm going to choose Elementor full width because I'm using Elementor. I'm going to go to settings, reading, and then I'm going to choose my static home page for home. No, at this point you cannot design your own invoices, Andrew. And once I go to pages and I've got the home page, yes, you have to have KC installed for the app. Let me show you that page real quick. Let me make sure I installed the WilCity app plugin first. Install the mobile app plugin and make sure you activate it. Under pages, app homepage, edit with KC. So you've got this section here, click on the big green elements button. Now you have all these tabs, but you're going to go to WilCity mobile app. Make sure you're only under that. You can only add these 5 items at this time. So make sure you do that only. App Hero, it's going to be the most popular one. It's a big image with some text in the middle. Explore the city. And I can't show you an example of it right now because I'm on a computer. But there's many examples on the WilCity Showcase site. If you want to look at those, you can see those. But the title color, make sure you fill in the title colors, the description color, and the overlay color. Even if you're going to set this to transparent, make sure you set the color, because if you don't, sometimes the app will break, and you have to do that. You may have some receipt control in the Stripe or PayPal account, but as of right now, nothing with WilCity. So when you add this, you have that, and then you can add new elements like an app heading. You can change it to be whatever you want. So recent listings, hit save, and then you can add the plus button, and then actually do app listings. Pick some categories if you want to. Choose the image size, grid layout, whatever you guys want to do here. Hit save. I have a video on WilCity's website, their YouTube, that goes more into depth on building apps if you guys have those questions for you guys. Once you're done here, make sure your template is set to the mobile app homepage and hit update. From there, you guys should be pretty good to go on the app. And WilCity does have a service that will build the app for you called WilCityService.com. And I know a lot of people have been using this because it's just so much easier than doing it yourself most times, especially if you don't have the right equipment. So definitely check out their site if you haven't done so yet, because they will help you guys out. Let's see. Anybody have any other questions? Custom fields are not viewable in the app at this time, and I'm sure that that's on their roadmap to fix, because I know a lot of people have asked about that. So definitely wait for that. I know they're working on mobile app extensively, especially with notifications, like manual push notifications, so you can actually push out notifications manually to everybody. And then they're also releasing their review parts. You can leave reviews in the apps. Now what I'm hoping for is if they can make it so that we can add listings in the app. Now that would make it a full-fledged standalone app that we don't even need a website for. That would be amazing. I'm waiting for that. Does anybody have any other questions? Like I said, I'm not really going to go into doing the pages because it all depends on what you're building with, and it's going to be a little different. So if you have any other questions, you can always PM me in the group, Donald McGuinn. I may or may not be able to help you then, but for the most part, you can get that going. And then if you search, and I'm sure this is true for all of them, if you search for WilCity, there's going to be these WilCity elements that you can just click and drag right into it. If you want the hero image, you can do that, or if you want headings, you can do that as well. So there's all those different things that you can do, like a grid layout. You can even do the grid layout, and it's got that right there. So you can always hit that update button. I've built 3 sites so far, plus dev sites, and learning something every time. Yeah, I'm definitely learning something every time, and I think that this is, I think I'm up to like 3 or 4 WilCity websites right now, including WilCityShowcase.com. Now that was a pretty custom site to be able to add the WilCity WilCity Showcase. There's a lot of custom things in here, a lot of CSS and things like that. Like this right up here is used in that Say What plugin to submit website and app. That's all custom there. Doing this so that we don't have to have a cover photo or featured image. We don't have to have that, so that's all custom as well. Did a lot of things like saying if you built an app, they can choose yes or no, and it'll appear in a sidebar. So there's a lot of things there that's pretty custom, as well as like using the plugins. This is actually the tag feature for listings. I just made it plugins instead. So that's just something you can do. Just thinking out of the box is something that you really have to do with the theme. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you very much. Yeah, I did the same thing. I gave the other theme the boot, and I've been with WilCity. I mean, mainly the native app is why I switched over, because I mean that alone is awesome. The other theme does have a third-party app that you can buy, and it kind of works with it. But this one, I mean, it's always great when the same developers build it. A real estate one, yeah, that is a bit of a bummer. But I'm sure that they're coming out with a real estate theme for WilCity. So you may want to stay tuned for that, Jan, if you're looking to do the real estate. Now I've actually been building a real estate website, all done with advanced custom fields and custom post type, and it's been great. So you may want to look into maybe not a directory theme with WilCity for the real estate, but it could be something if they come out with their theme for the real estate with WilCity. It could be something nice. The single navigation is only working with tabs. I'm not sure what you mean, but it is tabbed content. So whatever you have there, it'll show up in tabs. It can't be an anchor on home. Don't think so. I don't. I don't. I don't think I understand. But I don't think you could put it on home. Mine is all about restaurants, and by the looks of it, we'll see. Oh yeah, definitely ready to go for that. And actually, they're collaborating with other developers that I know about adding specific restaurant features like menus and things like that. So there's a lot of stuff in the works for this theme. They're just trying to fix all the bugs for the initial launch and add new features at the same time. So they're a bit tied up right now on what they're trying to do. But I know that they're hiring new developers that they've already hired, so that you can get new features and things like that. So I'm sure that they're going to be pumping out some stuff after 2.0, which right now I'm sure 1.1.8 is going to be coming out in maybe like a month or two. Not guaranteed because I have no clue. But yeah, so I'm thinking that's when it's going to come out. All right. You guys have any other questions? I am here. If we've been to a restaurant before, could we pin our own review to the top? I don't know if you could pin your own review to the top. I know that admins can pin reviews and things like that, but I don't think that you can manually pin your own review. And WordPress multi-language, that's something that's coming out in 1.1.8, I believe. Let's check their roadmap real quick. Let me pull up their roadmap and see what we've got, because I know that they're doing something. Well, okay, here it is. So their roadmap right here, 1.1.8 says it's going to be 100% compatible with WordPress multi-language. Like I said, I'm thinking that 0.8 is going to be coming out in about a month or two. No guarantee, because I'm not a developer. I'm just a user of the theme. But I'm thinking it's going to be coming out in about a month or so. But there's going to be a lot of different cool things that's going to be coming out with 0.8. Yeah, it's on top, but who knows what that means. But as you can see, they've got a lot of different functionalities going to be coming out, like bringing the WooCommerce and Doken to the mobile app. So if that's possible, then I don't see why custom fields aren't possible. So I think that that's definitely going to be coming in the future. Right now, I don't think that's a possibility to do the events for free if you have a listing and paid if you haven't. I don't think that that's free, because there would have to be something in the event plan saying price if they have a listing, or and price if they don't. So right now they don't have that capability, but you might be able to do something with like a membership plugin, like Restrict Content Pro. But I'm not sure on how we will be able to set that up. But it could be possible with a little bit of coding. But it just depends on how much time you have to do that. Let's see. If you don't want to go through the 2 hours to set up your theme, just like I did, then yes, definitely pay for someone to set up your theme. There are many people in a group that are capable of doing so. You can always contact me if you want. But if you don't want to go through, or if you don't feel comfortable, then yes, set up your own. Then have somebody set up your theme for you. But that's completely up to you. Don, up to you. But I would suggest try doing it at least one time, because if you don't, then I mean, you're always gonna have to pay for somebody. If you never learn, then you're always gonna have to pay for somebody like to do it for you. When, as you see here, it took probably about 2 hours to do, maybe 3 hours if you're not familiar with it. And 3 hours could be a lot of money that you save depending on who you hire. But completely up to you in the end, Don. For me, I know that I would love to just try it out first. You can either PM me on Facebook in the group, Donald McGuinn. I'm the only moderator on the group. So if you go to the section for the group where you can go to the members, you'll see my name, and I'm a moderator. And if I don't get back to you ASAP, it's because I didn't see your message, or I'm actually launching a website this evening, so I may be pretty tied up. But it's up to you to contact whomever you want. There's a couple other people in the group that I can refer you to if I'm too busy as well. So, any other questions that you all may have, I'll give it about a couple more minutes if you guys have any more questions. If not, like I said, you guys can always reach me on Facebook, or leave a comment down here below. Okay, is it possible to have a review? So a recommendation from the site admins really pinned to the top of other reviews. Yes, you can do that. You can make it so that you, as an admin, pin a review to the top of the review board for a particular listing. Yes, you can. Thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate you guys coming out. And this has been something that's been asked in the WilCity group for so long. A full tutorial and start to finish on how to do this. So I'm hoping this helps out. Always refer to this link if you need to. Send it to people who are asking. But yeah, definitely have them check out this page, this video, if they need help. I think I will go ahead and log off. And like I said, if you guys need help in the future, I'm always available in the group. Um, and my channel is right here. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't done so yet. I'm doing more videos for WilCity. A lot of my stuff is Elementor based and Astra based, and some of the Elementor add-ons. Um, but a lot of stuff for WilCity and Astra. So if you haven't done so yet, definitely subscribe using the button below. Turn on the notifications so you guys get notified whenever I upload a new video. And we will see you guys next time. Thanks.